Hi, and welcome to our What Sold video for April 7th through 13th. Let's dive right in. The first thing that we sold was a Brighton leather 3D crossbody kiss lock clutch purse. This we got at a garage sale quite a long time ago for $3. It, for some reason, took a long time to sell. Usually Brighton sells fast, wouldn't you say?
Normally.
And it did sell for $29 though, so that was good.
It wasn't very big either. It was like this big.
Yeah. The other weird thing that happened is we have our feedback set up to automatically leave feedback when the buyer leaves us positive feedback. And the buyer reached out to us through a message and said, would you please leave us feedback if you haven't already? And I was like, well, I'm pretty sure we did because I did remember getting feedback from them. Yeah,
they'd already given it.
But I went in and made sure that we had left feedback. And so I sent them a message back and I said, we have already left you positive feedback. Thank you so much for your purchase.
What are you talking about?
And then like 30 minutes later, I got another message from them that was like, would you please go in and leave me positive feedback if you haven't done it already? And I'm like, what's going on with this person? At that point, I was just ignoring the messages.
Yeah.
But that was really weird. We've never had that before.
Because it's set to auto. So if they leave us good, we leave them good.
Yeah. Like, why are you so desperate for feedback?
I know. I was thinking maybe it was a brand new person, brand new store or something.
Yeah.
No, they had like 1,000 feedbacks. So it wasn't.
It was weird.
It was really odd. There was no
really
reason.
Strange.
No reason to go panhandling for feedback.
They were all
you've got
about that
1,000.
feedback.
Not everybody's going to give you feedback, by the way.
No, they're not.
But, okay.
Yeah.
Whatever.
They wanted it.
Here's your feedback.
All right. Next up was a 3.5-inch wood hand-painted canvas back duck figurine, which we got at an estate sale for $2. It sold on offer to buyer for $13.58.
Those always sell.
Yeah.
Big ones, little ones, they always sell. Little duck figures.
Next up was a lot of 2 Charlie Brown VHS tapes. One was You're in the Super Bowl, Charlie Brown, and the other one was It's Christmas Time Again. I don't know why I read it like that, but
because it's Charlie Brown.
It just seems like
he's such a
it's Christmas time again.
He's so depressing.
So we got those at a thrift store for 52 cents. And they sold for $13 on a brand new platform to us, which is Citizen. So that was.
And I was just informed that Citizen, you can sell things that aren't for kids.
You can.
Which seems odd from the name, but no, you can.
Everything I've posted on there, though, has been pretty kid-centric.
Yeah.
But you can post things for parents. It doesn't just have to be kid stuff only.
I was not aware of that.
Yeah, you can. But Citizen is just a selling platform, just like any of the other ones. If you're interested in selling on a new platform or buying on a new platform, we do have an affiliate link in our description box below. You can go check out Citizen, see what it's all about. Look and see if you want to become a buyer or seller on there. And with our affiliate link, you will get $5 off of your first purchase with the link. So if it's something you're interested in looking into, definitely check that out. And it does also interact with List Perfectly. So if you are cross-posting or cross-listing with List Perfectly, that's yet another platform that you can easily cross-list to using List Perfectly. And if you're not already using List Perfectly, we also have a List Perfectly link in our description box below. So if you are looking for an easy way to cross-list, there is a link for that down below. You get 30% off of your first month. All right, next up was a lot of 19 action and adventure VHS movies. Had all classic, great action adventure movies like Arnold movies, Mel Gibson movies.
The chopper.
Exactly.
It wasn't that one though. It didn't have Predator.
I don't think.
It did have True Lies, I believe.
It had some good ones. It had some good classic action adventure movies. It was a good lot. We had gotten a lot of these from a family member, some of them at the thrift store, some of them at garage sales. We were all in for $4.53, and this lot sold for $24.99. Next up was a 10 count of 7-inch Roblox themed birthday party dessert plates. They were brand new in the package, but I think the outer packaging might have had some flaws. We had the word read in the title, and I think that's why. This was free to us through a kind of like a curb alert thing that was on Nextdoor. Someone had a big bag of kids stuff. It was all new in the package. And
it was all
said,
random low value stuff.
Yeah, first come, first serve. We were first come, so we got it. This sold for $8, and we still made a profit of $1.50 on it. So
take it.
Yeah, we'll take it. We've sold several things from that bag, so it was definitely worth it.
No. We definitely made money. And it cost us nothing. So that one alone, we were in the profit.
Yeah. Next up was a lot of 2 audiobooks. I lotted these 2 together because they both were related to movies. The first one was...
on cassette.
Yes, they were on... Did I say...
You said audiobooks, but it's cassette audiobooks.
Yeah, audiobooks on cassette. They were... The first one was Wise Guy, which is the book that was... The movie Goodfellas was made from that book. And then the next one was Gump & Co., which was the sequel to Forrest Gump.
The Gumpening.
Forrest Gump 2, Electric Boogaloo.
Yeah.
All right, so those we got at the thrift store for 35 cents, and they sold for $14.38. Next up was a 1996 Ertl Texaco truck bank. We were missing the key to get into it, but this was a collector's item.
Money goes in, but it doesn't come out.
But it never comes out. So this we paid 45 cents for at the bins, and it sold for $17.98.
It was a good bins trip. They're always good bins trips.
They're always good. Next up was 11 Sesame Street VHS tapes. We tested them, and they worked. Kevin actually watched them all from the beginning to the end.
Not beginning to end.
I came in here
but
and
I do
he was
test
like,
every tape.
Elmo, yay, I love you. I tested every tape.
I did.
He did. So we had paid $2.53 for all of those at the thrift store, and they sold for $22.38. Next up was a pair of women's J. Crew elastic waist pull-on easy pants. Those pants are easy. Those were gifted to us to sell by a family member. We had no cost, and they sold for $37.99.
That was a good sale.
Yeah, I thought those pants were cute. And I think I every time I saw them, I pulled them out of the inventory, and I was like, I think I want these. And then I would try them on, and they never looked good on me.
Yeah. Well, you're not easy enough for those pants.
I guess not.
She's far too difficult for those pants.
Yeah, they were just...
far too difficult for those easy pants.
All right, next up was a lot of 10 Christian religious worship VHS tapes. They were all kinds of different ones. We have been trying to clean out all of our VHS, and so any like items we lotted together in big lots and are trying to get rid of them.
That lot actually had 2 tapes of the same movie, just different versions of the same movie.
It did, yeah. I mean, we disclosed that
we were just
in the
trying
description,
to get
but
rid
we were
of the
like,
stuff.
yeah, you can have it for a good price. Just take it.
We're clearing out VHS to make room for more VHS.
This we had paid $2.72 in total for. Many of them were gifted to us by a family member. Much of them was gifted to us by a family member. And that sold for $17.18. Next up was a Levi's men's chambray shirt. It had metal buttons. We got this at a church rummage sale for just 42 cents. Which rummage sale was that?
I think that was the one where you'd filled a shopping bag for $3. Anything you could fit in the shopping bag for $3. And we were just like jamming stuff.
Yeah, we had those bags so stuffed. Those bags were ready to pop.
They were.
Yeah.
With bargains.
We got our money's worth. That's for sure. All right. So that sold for $22 even. Next up this came from the same rummage sale, but they had 2 areas. They had the fill-a-bag clothing area, and then they had
This came from the stuff area.
Yeah, this
in
came
a different
from
building.
more of like the hard goods area.
It was in a completely different building.
Yeah. This was a vintage Durapack definer. It was a fisherman's depth finder. It was brand new in the package. We got this for 25 cents, and it sold for $8. Next up was a 2006 Mattel Holiday Angel Barbie blue satin shimmer gown, dress, and wings. We got this gifted to us. This came out of the Barbie bag. And so we had no cost. It sold for $14.99. And Kevin recently did the math on the Barbie
we're already
bag.
up to $350 in profit. $350 just on that bag of Barbie stuff. And we still have a ton of stuff listed. We're doing good on that gift.
Yeah. Next up was a signed and numbered print by Tom Lavelle, and it was called Invitation to Trade. This was something that we got out of that storage unit from the other business that we own.
Yeah.
We're just trying to clean out this storage area that has a bunch of old stock and stuff in it. So we had no cost on this, and it sold for $150.
We took the invitation to trade.
And we
traded
it for money. Next up was a lot of 11 VeggieTales VHS. We got these also at that church rummage sale, and we only paid 26 cents for all of them.
Yeah, I don't know how we ended up.
I feel like some of them were gifted to us.
I think a lot of them were gifted to us by a family member, and then some we got at the rummage sale.
Yeah, some we got at the rummage sale.
And we just kind of bunched it all together. But we're only into them for 26 cents.
26 cents is an unusual
really low.
amount.
Really low.
And why is it 26 cents from the rummage sale?
I don't know.
I mean, spreadsheet math is all I'm going to say on that one. But those sold for $19.99.
And much more VHS space.
I'm sure that these came from multiple different places. And usually what I do on the purchase location is if the majority of them came from the rummage sale, I'll put that as the purchase location. So, and then I total up how much we spent at all the different locations.
I still don't see how it ended up at 26 cents.
I don't either.
We might have only gotten one from a rummage sale, and then all the rest were gifted.
But why would we spend 26 cents on them in a rummage
Tax?
sale? I don't think that's right, but who knows? I'm sure it made sense at the time.
I don't know.
All right, next up was a lot of 2 jigsaw puzzles. They were both 1,000-piece puzzles. These were puzzles that belonged to us that we actually completed ourselves, so we knew they were complete. I said we had no cost on them. We probably got them either at the bins or at garage sales or something like that. I guarantee you we did not buy these full price.
Bought them, did them, sold them.
Yeah, exactly. So bought them for ourselves, secondhand, completed them, and then sold them.
And I don't know if we've mentioned this before, but now, since my mother lives with us, she's kind of our puzzle putting together factory. So all the ones we're buying, we're getting from people. We give to her, she puts them together, take a picture, go to the next one. So we're stockpiling those for lots.
Yeah, we're making her work for us.
I mean, hey, she's not going to live for free.
So those puzzles sold for $15. She does love it. She's a total puzzle addict. Oh, but she did quit watching Prison Break.
Oh, she finished Prison Break.
Yeah, she finished
That's why
Prison
she quit.
Break.
She only quit watching because she finished
no,
it.
isn't there like a later season that she hasn't seen?
Apparently there's a season that takes place like 7 years after the final season, and she wanted no part of that.
Yeah.
She watched the whole first part
she was
until it
real
was done.
mad at it.
And then I showed her mowing videos on YouTube, and that's all she's watched since Prison Break.
It's like just sounds of downstairs. That's all we can
she's
hear.
watching so many. She's still watching them.
Yeah.
She's watching video after video of people mowing lawns, cutting limbs.
Yeah, SB mowing. If you're ever watching this,
she's not watching just SB mowing, but yes, SB mowing is what I started her on.
And Blessing Boys. Yeah. She is your biggest fan. So
I eased her in on SB mowing.
She is so into it.
Now she's watching stuff from like Europe. I don't know. She's watching all kinds. If there's something to cut down, she's watching it.
I told her we're going to hook her wheelchair up to our lawnmower and she can just push it or tow it.
She said she preferred just watching from a distance. Watch other people sweat.
All right, let's move on. Okay, the next thing was a pair of saltwater sandals. This was a pair of white sandals. These we got from that kids' shoe liquidation. I paid $9.09 per pair, and this pair sold for $33.99. Next up was a one-size black spandex dome wig cap. It was new in the package. This came out of a storage unit. We paid 28 cents for it, and it sold for $7.34. Next up was a lot of 3 Foundry Supply Company men's big and tall size 54 chino walking shorts. 54 is a large size, hard to find size. So while the Foundry is not like a super sought after brand. We listed these all together and decided to list them at all because they were such a large size and we knew that that would help them to sell. These were gifted to us by a family member. We had no cost and they sold for $26.38. All right, now at this time, I'd like to pause for just a moment and invite you guys to subscribe to our channel if you're not already subscribed. If you've made it this far in the video, chances are you are probably enjoying this.
Who doesn't want more of this?
I know, exactly. So do us a big favor and hit that subscribe button. And while you're at it, make sure to hit that thumbs up button right next to it. And also make sure to hit that bell button so you can be kept informed of all of our latest content. Also, now is the time in the video where we ask the Magic 8 Ball our question.
Magic 8 Ball, give us your wisdom.
Nobody left us a question last time, so we got to come up with our own question. I came up with a question last time, so I'm going to punt it to you to come up with a question for the Magic 8 Ball. Oh, Magic 8 Ball, what say you?
Will we sell any cassette tapes this week?
Of course it's about cassette tapes. I told you guys, he is a cassette tape
Well, I bought a bunch of
junkie.
cassette tapes last week and we listed them last week, so I'm wondering if some will sell.
All right. My sources say no.
That's what I figured. That was actually the answer I was expecting. 8 Ball don't lie.
The 8 Ball is always right.
Yeah, all seeing, all knowing 8 Ball.
All right, guys, if you would like to submit a question for us to ask the 8 Ball, all you have to do is drop a comment down below and we will ask the 8 Ball one of your questions.
Come to the Oracle.
Next week's What Sold video.
Yeah, it can be about your stuff too. It doesn't
Yeah,
need to
it doesn't have to be about our stuff. Actually, we'll ask the 8 Ball any appropriate question.
Yeah, we're not going to ask it anything creepy or perverted.
Yeah. So drop a comment down below and we will select a question to ask the 8 Ball for our next video. Hey guys, I almost forgot to mention that we are having our first Whatnot show on May 4th at 3 o'clock.
First ever.
So if you have not followed us on Whatnot, make sure that you go on Whatnot and follow us at Nina's Jewels. There's actually a link in our description box below. If you click that link, you can get $15 to spend on any of our Whatnot shows. So definitely plan to attend that if you can. The show's gonna be all plus size clothes and all pants. So we have a huge supply of them. If that's a category that you're interested in, you definitely don't want to miss out. And we hope to have more Whatnot shows in more categories. So either way, make sure that you go on to Whatnot and follow us at Nina's Jewels. All right, next up, a super frustrating sale. I'm still fuming about it, actually. I just want to pause for a moment, actually, and say that we have been in a situation on eBay probably about 4 years ago where I felt like I described it as being in like an eBay black hole or an eBay wormhole where I just felt like all of the walls of eBay were like caving in on me and like everything was going wrong. And I kept thinking, like, how many more times can a return be open? How many more times can a buyer complain? How many more times can I get a policy violation? Like, what else is going to go wrong? Like, why is everything going wrong right now? And we are in that right now.
We're having a mini slump, yes.
Slump? I wouldn't even call it a slump. We're having
mini
like
curse of the
mummy. We're having an avalanche.
A curse of the mummy.
It's awful. I mean, there's just so many things are going wrong. I don't think we've had this many returns in ever.
Yeah, it's been bad lately.
I don't know what's going on. And
I think people are just broke and so they're sending things back.
Maybe. I mean, I'm sure it'll turn around and we'll come out of it, and I'm not really worried about that. But we also had a policy violation for listing a non-prescription item, even though they said it violated the prescription policy.
Yeah,
it's super annoying.
Ridiculous.
I contacted eBay and they were just like, oh, too bad, so sad, sorry. So, you know, nothing you can do about that. And then we've had multiple other returns many of them unfair. I think I'm getting scammed right now on an item that we will discuss in next week's What Sold video. I'm waiting to get the item back.
Yeah.
I'll have more information for you guys, and we'll talk about that in detail next week. But the one we're going to talk about right now was a Panasonic 5.8 gigahertz cordless phone answering machine system. We tested it and it did work.
It powered on.
It powered on, but we had read in the title. It was listed in the for parts or repair category, and it was listed as is throughout the listing. And we did not make any promises. Like, we did not say that it was in perfect condition or anything like that. Okay, so we got this at the bins. We paid $1.68 for it, and it sold for $32.99. It was also listed as no returns because it was listed as for parts or repair. Yeah. And the buyer opened a return on it, and they said that like some element of one of the screens didn't work. And I'm like, well, for parts or repair, dude, you know, you're taking on risk when you buy a for parts or repair item. We said in the listing that it powers on, but it sold as is. So the return was opened, and I'm like, I don't really know what to do about this because I know that a buyer can open a return for any reason, but what's going to happen if I don't respond to this? Is eBay going to automatically side with me since this was listed in the for parts or repair category? Or what's going to happen? So I reached out to eBay for Business through Facebook. And basically what I was told was, well, it looks like this buyer is also a seller. So maybe you should reason with them and let them know that returning it to you is just going to be expensive. Only for me. Like, they're not going to have to pay for it. Why are they going to have any compassion over that?
They're not.
But that maybe they'll just understand. And I was like, what are you, Pollyanna? I mean, that's not going to work. So I responded back to the customer service rep, and I was like, if this buyer is indeed a seller, then they should know better than to abuse the system like this. But I understand what you're saying. However, I did list this in the for parts or repair category, and it was listed as no returns. What's going to happen if I just refuse to accept the return? Will eBay side with me? And they said, you need to accept the return and get the item back and refund them their money, and then reach out to us and see if you can get reimbursed for your return shipping. Yeah. And just basically let us know that the buyer was a bad buyer.
And here's your magic beans.
And I'm like,
sure.
I'm like, that's ridiculous. That's I get that, like, they don't want to deal with credit card chargebacks, which is what buyers are going to resort to. And I get that they're trying to avoid that hassle, and they're trying to avoid that hassle for us. But it is possible to tell buyers no and to train buyers that it's not okay to do this kind of thing. Like, I don't understand why they make it so easy for buyers. Like,
we don't list very many things for parts only.
And also, here's the other thing, eBay. If you ever watch this, the buyer should not be able to go online and in any way, shape, or form be able to open a return. Maybe if you want to have like a no sales or final kind of situation and say, like, we're open to any returns, that's fine. But make this buyer actually contact you through chat or through calling or through some kind of difficult means to go about opening the return. It should not be easy for them in any way to open a return on a no return item, or for definitely an item that's for parts or repair. Yeah. That's absolutely ridiculous that they were just easily
They're encouraging
able to
people to buck the system.
So this was an item that sold for full price. Somebody just went on and bought it. I had no ability to determine ahead of time whether or not I would do business with them. But I went in after they have pulled all these shenanigans and checked their feedback left for others. And like their first 7 or 8 feedback that they had left in the last, however long have been negative. So we're probably definitely going to get a negative feedback on this. And, they'll probably do a credit card chargeback either way.
It's possible.
I don't know. I'm just feeling really disillusioned with the whole eBay
It's annoying.
system.
There shouldn't even be a as-is for parts only category.
Yeah.
If they can still return it anyway. What's the point?
That's another thing I said to the eBay
So just don't
service
sell
rep.
anything that doesn't 100% work, ever.
Yeah.
Because you're going to get it back if somebody's a jerk.
Yeah, if they're a jerk, yeah.
It's just...
in all honesty, we've never really had an issue with it before because most people are honest, but it's just really...
It's ridiculous.
And also, I wouldn't be having such an emotional reaction to it if so many other things had not been going wrong lately.
Yeah,
This was
it's
just
been kind of a bad eBay
seriously,
month.
it's like I was already in the coffin, gasping for air, and then this guy came along and was whack with the final nail, and I was like, well, I guess I'm taking my last breath now.
It's all right. It's all right. It's one sale. It's not the end of the world. It's annoying as can be. It's not the end of the world.
Yeah.
We'll get over it.
We will.
Centered?
I'll get my revenge.
She will. You done messed up, buddy.
All right. So we're not getting any money on this unfair return anyway.
Yeah.
So he's going to send it back, and I'm sure eBay won't do anything about it.
They won't.
Anyway, getting over it. Moving on.
Next item.
Next item up was a pair of Nike Dry Fit women's small tempo athletic running shorts. These were Nina's, and we had no cost. They sold for $11.98. They were actually a hand-me-down to her. Next up was an A&A women's gray V-neck high-low hem lightweight sweater. This was mine, and I had no cost. Well, I had cost at one time.
Yeah, but she wore it for a long time. So
Wait, was this mine? This might have been Nina's.
either way, free to us.
I think it was mine. And that sold for $13.13. Oh, you know what? This must be why we're having all the bad luck.
Oh, and we made $6.66. Not really.
Yeah, it sold for $13.13. I mean, that explains it. That explains it. All right, next up was a pair of men's Crocs. They were... or men's or women's, actually. They were navy and white stripe beach line thong flip-flops. We got those at a garage sale for $1, and they sold for $18.38. Next up was a lot of 5 Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints Mormon VHS tapes. These were gifted to us by a family member. We had no cost, and they sold for $16.99.
Yeah, I didn't pick those up. That wasn't my fault. Those were given to us.
Well, actually, I think LDS stuff usually sells.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Normally, I'm responsible for VHS, but it wasn't me.
Yeah.
Shaggy in the shower.
It wasn't me.
It wasn't me.
Next up was a vintage 1960s Mattel Barbie Ken doll original red and white striped beach shirt. We got this gifted to us by a family member. This came out of the Barbie bag, and it sold for $11.99. Next up was a 15-piece lot of 1980s Barbie and the Rockers clothing and accessories. This had that really cool 1980s Barbie prom dress looking thing in it. I was really enamored by that. This came out of the Barbie bag as well, and it sold for $27. Next up was an OP Toddler Boys 24-month red sunglass print swim trunks. This came out of a storage unit for 24 cents, and it sold for $8.25 on Mercari. Next up was a Holy Bible new international version with helps. It was a red letter version. This came from the thrift store for $1.35, and it sold for $9.58. Next up was another Bible. This one was a Gideon Pocket Bible in the color brown. We got this out of a storage unit for $1.16, and this sold for $14.99.
It was from 1968.
Yeah.
So that's why it was worth a little more.
Next up was a blue tie-dye cropped Lilo and Stitch Aloha t-shirt. This came from a garage sale for $1, and it sold for $10.84.
Is it Lilo? I always think it's Lilo. Is it Lilo?
I think it's Lilo.
I've never seen it.
I'm pretty sure it's Lilo.
She would know.
I actually wouldn't. I've never seen it.
Oh.
Yeah, I just always thought it was Lilo.
always
Let
thought
us know
so.
in the comments below what it is. Next up was a pair of UGG women's Jocelyn cream leather and canvas platform wedge sandals. We found these at a garage sale for $3.28. This was one that we did a bulk buy on and then just did a per item cost. And these sold for $22.38. Next up was a vinyl record. This one was called All Ears. It was 10 new and original song hits with a CB theme. Breaker, breaker.
Yeah, I think it had like Convoy on it.
Yeah.
Trucker songs.
And we got this at an estate sale for $3.75. It sold for $11.99. Next up was a Walt Disney World penny press collection souvenir album, and it had 19 pressed pennies in it. This we got at a garage sale for $2, and it sold for $30 even. Not bad.
Nice. That's pretty good.
Yeah. Who knew those pressed pennies were worth so much?
I did not know.
I was always really interested in getting one of those when I was little from the zoo. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
I remember they had those at Six Flags too, I think.
My mom was always like, but you're paying 25 cents for one penny.
For a penny. Yeah, but the 24 cents is the labor of pressing the penny.
Next up was a Sundance women's blush pink Bailey V-neck sleeveless sweater. This came from a garage sale for $1, and it sold for $18.38.
We got good feedback on that. Actually, we got good feedback on that penny album too.
Yeah, we got good feedback on that.
I'm remembering those two are triggering memories.
Sundance was a brand I always wanted to find because
Really?
I've never seen it before, like anywhere. It's like a catalog brand and I've never seen it. I was so excited when I found it at that garage sale, and then it like only sold for like $18.38.
Well, you're complete now.
Next up was a Joyspun women's size small pastel swirl 2-piece tank tops and shorts pajama set. It was new with the tags. This was gifted to us to sell by a family member. We had no cost, and it sold for $12.78. It's like a Walmart brand, so not great, but it was really cute. Next up was a lot of 2 Mattel Barbie Darren doll accessory, red hats. It had a baseball cap and a visor. This sold for $11.18, and the baseball cap came from the Barbie bag, and the visor, I think we had gotten out of a toy bag.
Oh, they didn't come from the same place?
No, the visor came, I had it like kind of off to the side.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
I thought they both came out of there, and we got good feedback on that one too.
Next up was another item that came from the Barbie bag. This was a lot of 3 vintage 1990s Barbie blue headphones with the mic. I couldn't figure out exactly which Barbie these went to, but it was like the kind of headphones that you would wear like if you worked in an office, or like if you were a pop star type of both of those things.
Barbie.
Yeah, exactly. So I didn't know. I put them all in the...
Have you ever considered a timeshare?
Exactly. Yeah. Annoying Barbie. So we had no cost on those, and they sold for $15.99.
We got good feedback on those too.
Next up was a Tanjay women's plus size white bejeweled studded V-neck 3/4 sleeve top. This was gifted to us to sell by a family member, and it sold for $19.99. And last up was a Cricut image set. It had a signature script font cartridge and the universal overlay for the keypad. We got these from the Goodwill bins. We found a Cricut machine, ultimately decided that we didn't want the whole machine, and we just stripped it for parts.
And saw that it wasn't worth it, so I was like, well, get the little parts out of it. So we did.
So we paid 45 cents for that, and it sold for $19.99. So that wraps up all of our sales for this week. Let's go over the totals. All right, the total number of sales is 39.
Okay, it's not bad.
The average sale price was $21.41.
Not great, but not terrible.
Yeah, if it's over 20, it's okay.
20's anything below that's kind of like, eh.
Yeah. The total sales are $834.97, which is pretty low.
It's not good.
Yeah.
It's not terrible, but it's not good.
Yeah, I think it's pretty low.
Yeah.
And the net profit was $415.85.
Which, I mean, again, it's up from last week, but
yeah,
it's not great.
It's not great. So the question for this time will be, Will our sales pick up next week?
Yes, definitely.
So that wraps up the week of April 7th through 13th. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please make sure that you hit that like button. And if you're not already subscribed, we would really appreciate it if you would subscribe to our channel. It means a lot to us. And you can check out a lot of information in our description box below. So make sure you go down and check out all the links that we have. And we will catch you guys
on the flip side.
Bye.